What's up, guys? It's Dan from Coin Bureau Trading, back at it again with another crypto market update. Today we've got XRP, Hedera, and Stellar. These three cryptos have been, actually holding up quite well, and I'm sure you're all wondering, are they going to pump? Are they going to dump with the rest of the market? What's coming next for these three cryptos? If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, then be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ping that notification bell. Before we get started, guys, do keep in mind that nothing in this video is financial advice. It's just my personal analysis of these cryptos. Your analysis could be different, and honestly, guys, if it is, that's awesome, because the more difference of opinion we have, the better traders, the better investors we're all going to become, as I like to say. So with that being said, guys, let's get started here and take a look at, what's been going on with XRP. Of course, the highlight there has been the launch of Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin, which I think is by some is being referred to as real USD, to kind of like underscore the fact that it's a little bit more trustworthy. Of course, here we can see Ripple is really promoting the fact that that the RLUSD is, let's say, well, it depends on who you ask, but potentially more trustworthy than the other stablecoins that are out there. Of course, RLUSD is going to face a lot of competition, but of course, RLUSD is really just in its early stages here, getting integrated with Chainlink and a bunch of other stuff. And I do think that the recent launch of RLUSD is why XRP has been looking so resilient and why it's going to continue heading higher. So as you guys can see here, XRP is looking really good. It hasn't crashed nearly as much as other cryptos in this recent pullback, and I do think it's going to continue heading higher. So let's just take things one step at a time. As always, we have to figure out what is the starting point, and the way that I figure that out is I basically look and say, okay, where was the starting point of this most recent move, right? And we're on the daily chart here, guys. This is not the hourly, this is not the 4-hour, this is not the 15-minute, definitely not the 15-minute. We're just looking at where did this most recent move start here on the daily, and arguably it started somewhere around $1.5, and then we have to ask ourselves, okay, where are prices struggling to get above? I would say it's around $2.5, given that it's a very key psychological level. Of course, we did see XRP go above that a little bit before, but as you can see, almost every single time it would get above that level, a lot of people would take profit. There would be a lot of selling above that level, so that tells us that's probably the resistance level. Okay, so then next step is we just have to look at, okay, what is the difference between these two levels? Of course, that's $1. So then all we have to do to figure out the target is basically take the resistance and we add the difference, and that gives us a target of $3.5, which from the current price you'd be looking at around a 50% gain, which is not too shabby at all. But of course, guys, as I always say, and as you always need to keep in mind, especially when you're trading these cryptos, you have to wait until XRP gets above this $2.5 resistance level before you can start getting too excited about that $3.5 target. Of course, waiting means that you have to give up some of those gains, but once you have that confirmation, then you can be pretty confident that you're going to get that 35% to the upside, which is how much it could potentially pump from this $2.5 level. Of course, and if it gets rejected from this resistance, it's possible that XRP could fall as low as $2, which is again pretty logical support level. It's around it's a nice, I guess, round number, $2. When it falls back down to $2, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people picking that up. You can see here, even in the past on these daily candles, these long wicks at the bottom tell you that people were buying the dip when it approached $2. And of course, here we saw a nice bounce off this $2 support. So that tells us that support level is probably going to hold. And of course, for those of you who are more familiar with technical analysis will know that XRP is kind of painting a bull flag here. And the nice thing is that, you don't necessarily need to know all these patterns. All you have to know is, where's the starting point? Where's the resistance? What's the difference? Add that difference to the resistance, and that gives us a target of $3.5. And of course, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, when is that going to be hit? I personally think that's going to be hit around the time of Trump's inauguration, because of course XRP is a crypto that has a strong presence in the US, and once Trump gets into office, then all these US focused cryptos are going to do really well, especially now that Ripple has launched this RLUSD stablecoin, which is of course launching in the United States. So again, it's going to probably be another couple weeks here, but I do think that XRP is going to hit this $3.5 target most likely by the end of the month, in my opinion. With that in mind, guys, we were using Bybit there. If you are interested in making a Bybit account, you can get up to $60,000 in rewards if you use our link in the description. We also have trading fee discounts on OKX, KuCoin, and Binance, which is of course three of the biggest crypto exchanges. And I'm speaking from experience, guys, that these trading fee discounts especially will help you out a lot. Even if you're not even if you don't have a lot of money, if you're just trading frequently with a few $100s, a few $1,000s, if you're trading every day or every few days, those fees do add up, and I know that from experience. And taking advantage of these deals doesn't cost a thing. It's completely free. The exchange gets a new user, you get a trading fee discount, and we get a cut of those fees. That's how the Coin Bureau makes its money. We have no agenda or anything like this. We're just basically trying to help everyone out as much as we can in terms of education, and also hopefully make a little bit of money along the way. With that being said, guys, let's turn over now to Hedera. And what's interesting with Hedera is, of course, it's been closely following XRP, I would say. I know that Hedera falls under this umbrella of kind of these let's say ISO 20022 cryptocurrencies. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm sure those of you who are watching are already familiar with that, so I'm not gonna, beat a dead horse there. But what's really interesting though, guys, is I do see Hedera or HBAR. I fundamentally see HBAR as like a higher risk, higher reward bet on XRP. I know some of you might say no, like Hedera is technically a little bit different, but I do think, guys, if you think about, just take a second to think about who are the people who are buying HBAR. I think it's mostly people who are into that ISO 20022 narrative, which is basically dominated by XRP. And I think a lot of people who are investing in HBAR do see it as a higher risk, higher reward play on XRP. And this is consistent with what we see in the charts here, guys. That HBAR chart looks almost identical. Like look at this, guys. It looks almost identical to XRP. Okay, so this is, if you don't believe what I'm saying, then the proof is in the price action. The proof is in the pudding, as they say. And what's nice, guys, is that I actually haven't adjusted this chart since we last covered HBAR. I think it was around 3 weeks ago. I haven't touched this chart at all. So all of the price targets, everything here continues to hold. And I'm very happy that in this case, in contrast to other cryptos we've reviewed in recent videos, HBAR has actually been holding the support of around 25 cents, which is awesome. Of course, it did dip a little bit below that later in December, but all things considered, not too shabby, especially with most other cryptos. Most other cryptos fell all the way back down to their starting point. HBAR is looking really strong here. So I guess, again, guys, taking things from the top, of course, the starting point of this most recent move, similarly to XRP, in this case, it's around 15 cents rather than $1.5. And then we have to ask, okay, where is the resistance? In this case, if I wanted to be super conservative, I could say it was somewhere around 3.3, but I would say it's probably closer to somewhere around 3.5. You can see that there's a little bit more activity around that level. Again, this is definitely up for debate, but when we're dealing with these small, just like whatever it is, 1 or 2 cent differences, it's not that big of a deal, guys. I do try and like keep things, try and focus on round numbers, keep things conservative in terms of my estimates, just so that way, if we do get an upside surprise, let's just say it's always nice if you get an upside surprise if you're holding or trading versus, the target not being hit. So I'm not trying to hunt for those extra, 1 or 2 cent levels or anything like that. With that being said, guys, starting point to 15 cents, resistance, I would say, is somewhere around 35 cents. That gives us a difference of around 20 cents, which of course, when we add that to the resistance, gives us a target of 55 cents for HBAR, which from the current price, if I bring this down here, you'd be looking at around basically a 2x gain, which is not too shabby at all, of course. And I guess that fits hand in glove with that idea that HBAR is a higher risk, higher reward play on XRP. Of course, as I just mentioned, XRP will probably go up around 50% by the end of the month, and it looks like HBAR could go up around 2x by the end of the month. So again, like, higher risk, but also higher reward. And again, in case it wasn't clear enough, and for those of you who don't know, HBAR is same like XRP. HBAR is kind of like a US focused, US based crypto. So I do expect that it's going to benefit quite significantly from Trump being inaugurated and some pro crypto, probably executive orders and stuff like that being announced shortly afterwards. So by the end of the month, I do expect HBAR to hit this target. But again, guys, just do keep in mind that if you are trading, this is especially for those of you who are trading, you need to see confirmation above this 35 cent level. And of course, from that level, the upside is only around 50%. But that being said, do you want to, especially when you're trading with leverage, you want to make sure you get confirmation before you start going long. Otherwise, it could fall right back down. And who knows, there's a possibility, of course, if the market really, gets really nasty, that HBAR could fall all the way back down to the starting point. The same is true for XRP, of course. But my base case, and this is something I think, with this recent downturn over the last 24 hours, a lot of people are thinking, the crypto market is just going to keep heading lower. I actually don't think that's the case. And I know that's a little bit of a contrarian view even to the other hosts on this channel, but I'll kind of explain why towards the end of the video. So do stick around if you're interested in that alpha. But long story short, HBAR is looking really bullish here. And personally, like I don't hold HBAR personally, but if I was looking into these ISO 20022 cryptos, I personally think HBAR is the strongest, especially, here's a little bit of alpha right away, guys. HBAR will probably get its own ETF, possibly even before XRP. That's something I'm not saying, this is not coming from me. This is coming from ETF experts at Bloomberg. They're saying that because HBAR has not been labeled as a security before, it doesn't have that same regulatory uncertainty as XRP, which of course I know like the case was settled and all this stuff. But as far as regulators are concerned, as far as ETF approvals go, according to these ETF experts, HBAR has a higher chance of getting an ETF than XRP in the short term. Of course, XRP will get one eventually. I'm not saying that it won't. It definitely will. But the analysts are saying, again, I'm just repeating what they're saying, so don't shoot the messenger. The ETF analysts are saying that HBAR will probably come first. So just keep that in mind. Moving now over to Stellar, and this is again where things get interesting. And I will say, as with yesterday, genuinely interesting. Besides the fact that Stellar is, of course, kind of like also, you could argue, like like a higher risk, higher reward play on XRP, particularly because they have a shared history. The difference is that Stellar has been focusing a lot on kind of like banking and payments, and of course they have this partnership with Circle and MoneyGram, which is a little bit funny because of course XRP, or rather Ripple, used to have a really close relationship with MoneyGram, and then they kind of switched over to working with Stellar and USDC. So with all that being said, guys, we can now turn over to the charts and take a look here that things are looking pretty bullish. And again, in case you're doubting my opinion here, or rather my analysis, that XLM, or rather Stellar, is just like a higher risk, higher reward play on XRP, you can see that the chart looks almost identical to XRP and to HBAR. Of course, Stellar is looking a little bit weaker. I guess XLM is looking a little bit weaker here. You can see it did fall below the support level, which is pretty unfortunate. Support level around 40 cents. But again, like it didn't come all the way back down to the starting point, which tells me that XLM has been quite resilient. And I do think that XLM is going to see a pretty sizable move. So of course, let's break things down one step at a time here, guys. So we have to ask ourselves again, what is the starting point of this most recent move? And of course, we're on the daily, in case you forgot. The starting point is around 24 cents. The resistance is quite clearly somewhere around 54 cents, I would say. Of course, you can make the case somewhere around 55. Again, I'm not going to be, splitting hairs here with the 1 or 2 cents. And the difference there, of course, guys, between these two levels is 30 cents. So all you have to do is take the difference and add it to the resistance, and that gives us a target of 84 cents, which from the current price, I believe is more, roughly a 2x. And from the resistance level, that'll be roughly a 55% gain to the upside. And just like XRP, just like HBAR, I expect XLM to hit this target by the end of the month. And to be honest, guys, like the more that I look at these charts, the more bullish I'm getting. And I'm hoping that next week, maybe I'll actually do a video showcasing that I will actually be opening some trades, because I do think that of all the cryptos, like heading into the election, I do think on a risk reward basis, XRP, HBAR, and XLM probably have the best risk reward. And this is evidenced in the fact that they've been super resilient during this recent downturn, and they're looking super strong. The pattern is looking super bullish. They're based in the US, they have all these tailwinds behind them. So that's anyway, a little bit of alpha for you there again. But anyways, guys, I do think that this target will be hit by the end of the month. And just again, if you're trading, just do keep in mind that we do need to see XLM get above this resistance level first. And of course, you're going to sacrifice a little bit of gains in that case, but at least you'll be fairly confident that it is going to go for that target. You don't want to be going long here and then potentially it falling below support and then all the way back to the starting point, and then you just get completely liquidated. So just do keep that in mind, guys. You always need to get that confirmation, at least 1 or 2 candles on the daily above that level, and that means you have to sacrifice a little bit of gains. But to be honest, guys, it's better to be safe than sorry. A 34% gain on 2x leverage or whatever, or 50% gain on 2x leverage will still get you that 2x return, right? So if you're not happy with the fact that it's only 30 or 40 or 50%, you can always add a little bit of leverage once it's gotten above that resistance level. And again, not financial advice. I'm just saying, like, in terms of strategy, you don't have to, you don't think that you have to ride every single move the full way, because it's just never, if you think in that way, you're never gonna, it's never gonna happen, or you're gonna get wrecked more often than you make money. Anyways, guys, now of course, before I give you the alpha for today, of course, I have to shill the Coin Bureau Club here. That's where we do deep dives into promising small cap altcoins every single week. We literally do like a 20 or 30-minute video, like deep dive into these altcoins. The way that we pick these altcoins is we do a poll every single week, and the altcoins in the poll come from altcoins that we find during our research, and also altcoins that our members suggest. So and this kind of helps keep us unbiased, and it's really interesting for us as well, because then we have no idea what crypto is going to be voted on, and that makes things really interesting for us as well. And this, we end up reviewing some really interesting cryptos that we would have just never thought to even look at, right? Because it was recommended by members of our community. And of course, we have a research feed where I'm sharing insights like these every single day. And of course, we have a research team here that's super talented. Guys, I have to give another shout out to Kevin. He's been doing a really awesome job recently. Has some really interesting ideas around different trades for like DeFi cryptos. Not going to give away too much information there. He's also been doing a lot of research into AI agents and stuff like that. So if that's what you're interested in, there's a lot of stuff going on about that in the Coin Bureau Club Discord. And of course, we showcase our personal crypto portfolios, as well as our watch list, like the cryptos that we're considering adding. We have huge, I guess, like exclusive deals on these crypto trading platforms. And of course, as I just mentioned, we do have a Discord where you can ask us questions and where we can kind of talk about the state of the crypto market. And of course, a lot of people in there are panicking right now. And I'm doing my best to try and keep everyone calm, because I don't think that this recent pullback, I think it's just completely normal. I don't think that there's going to be some crazy, you're even seeing it in the news now that it's like, oh, there's a head and shoulders and everything's going to crash. When you're seeing it in the news, guys, and it's the consensus view, chances are it's not going to happen. And this brings me, I guess, to the alpha of the day. And for those of you who don't know, Bob Lucas is a trader who's really famous for identifying, or rather, I guess, popularizing the 4-year cycle. I think it was back in January 2019. He did a video called "A 4-Year Cycle Opportunity." You can find it here on YouTube. I definitely suggest giving it a watch. It's actually the video that was introduced to me, I think, over the summer of 2019. That's how I originally got into crypto. Was one of my friends shared a video with me from Bob saying, you should check this out, and that's kind of like what got me hooked. And I thought, wow, like it seems like there's a lot of opportunity here, and turns out I was right. But anyways, guys, or rather, he was right. But anyways, guys, you can see here, Bob's specialty is it's cycle theory. So basically, he doesn't really look too much at like patterns and whatever. It's more like in terms of cycles, and the cycles that he pays attention to are 60-day cycles. And so here, I'll just read it out for you, for those of you who are just listening, or if you're having a hard time reading. This is just day 8 of the Bitcoin 60-day cycle, and working on the first red candle of the cycle. Nothing unusual, too early for sustained weakness, so I think we bounce from these levels, basically. And I do think that that's going to happen here in the coming days. I do think that that by next week, we're going to be rallying again, and I do think that between now and the end of the month, and it's actually really interesting, guys, because Bob's analysis here lines up very closely to my personal analysis, so maybe it's my bias shining through. But my personal take is that we're going to see a rally, into the end of January at least. Then we're going to see a correction sometime in February or March, and then prices continue heading higher in April and May. And this is exactly what Bob has drawn out here. And I do think that this is likely to happen. Again, his analysis is based on cycle theory. Mine is based more on like different catalysts, like Trump getting into office. Maybe his stuff around crypto maybe is a little bit disappointing. So we see a little bit of a pullback, once he's in office, and then things start really flying in the spring, when these crypto regulations actually do start being passed. And I'll give you guys another little bit of alpha that U.S. politicians are planning, or rather Republican politicians are planning on passing like all of Trump's like ideas and regulations and whatever. They want to have everything passed by Memorial Day, which I think is sometime in May. So basically by May, they're looking to pass everything. And if they do that, and if this bill includes a whole bunch of stuff about crypto, then around the May timeframe is probably when we would see crypto really starting to pop off. And the top would probably be sometime over the summer, which is currently my base case. So for whatever that's worth, guys, if you did make it this far, I hope that you find that information helpful or interesting. And of course, guys, if you did make it this far, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ping that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.